You know that feeling, right? You're staring at your to-do list, you know exactly what you need to do, you even know it's important, and yet your body feels like it's filled with concrete. It's a struggle we all face. We make the plan, we set the goal, but then there's this invisible, paralyzing wall between knowing what to do and actually doing it. We tell ourselves just be more disciplined, just push through, but the engine just won't turn over. Well, this explainer is all about dismantling that wall, piece by piece. We're going to uncover why the common advice about willpower isn't just wrong, it's a recipe for burnout. And we're going to replace it with a powerful science-backed method to turn that cold, logical plan into hot, undeniable motivation. And it all starts by understanding a fundamental paradox. Just let that sink in for a second. We think of ourselves as these high-performance engines, capable of incredible things. So when we stall, what do? We blame the driver, our character, our discipline. But what if the problem isn't the driver at all? What if the problem is the fuel? We've been taught to be stoic, to push our feelings aside and run on the pure, clean fuel of logic. But here's the thing. What if that clean fuel is actually just water? What if the real high-octane stuff we need is the very thing we've been told to ignore? This idea is our starting point for completely rethinking how motivation actually works. All right, so let's get right into it by taking a sledgehammer to the biggest myth in productivity. This idea that we are, at our core, rational actors. This myth tells us that with enough willpower, we can operate like a computer, just executing commands based on pure logic. But as anyone who has ever chosen to watch just one more episode instead of hitting the gym knows, that's a total fantasy. Neuroscience, especially the groundbreaking work from researchers like Antonio Damasio, tells a very, very different story about who's really in the driver's seat. This right here gets to the very core of our biology. Damasio's research on patients with damage to the part of the brain that connects logic and emotion, it revealed a startling truth. These patients were perfectly intelligent. They could analyze a problem, list all the pros and cons, and logically figure out the best course of action. But they were completely unable to make a decision. They couldn't choose what to eat for lunch or when to schedule an appointment. Without that emotional signal that just says, this one feels right, logic is paralyzed. It can draw the map, but it can't take the first step. Emotion. That's the spark. It's the signal that transforms a logical possibility into a biological need to act. This is the huge paradigm shift we have to make to unlock our potential. For centuries, we've operated under the myth on the left that we're logical beings and emotions are just these messy, inconvenient bugs in the system. But the reality, which modern neuroscience confirms, is the exact opposite. We are feeling creatures first. Our ancient emotional limbic system has been running the show for millions of years, totally focused on survival and reward. Our rational brain, the prefrontal cortex, is a relatively new, powerful, but kind of thin layer on top of that primal core. Until you learn to work with this deep emotional system instead of fighting against it, you will always be in a state of civil war with your own biology. So, what happens when we try to operate based on this flawed myth of pure rationality? Well, we run into a very real and painful problem. We end up relying on a system, willpower, that is fundamentally broken for long-term motivation. This leads to a state of internal resistance, a kind of systemic freeze that I'm sure many of us know all too well. I want you to think about your willpower like the battery on an old smartphone. You know, it starts at 100% in the morning. But every single time you force yourself to do something, your emotional brain resists, like ignoring that donut, or starting that dreaded report, or having that difficult conversation. You drain the charge. And this isn't just a metaphor, it's a real psychological concept called ego depletion. By lunchtime, after a morning of fighting your own impulses, that battery is already flashing red. Relying on willpower alone guarantees you'll be running on empty precisely when you need that energy for your most important work. And this is what happens when that battery's drained. You get limbic friction. It's that physical sensation of being stuck in mud. It's the heaviness in your chest, the tension in your shoulders, that invisible force holding you in your chair. Your logical brain is like a frustrated parent yelling, "Go!" But your ancient emotional limbic system is the stubborn kid sitting on the floor, folding its arms and screaming, "Why? Why should I spend precious energy on this task that offers no immediate threat or reward?" This exhausting internal tug-of-war is the true source of procrastination. So let's make this crystal clear. If you experience limbic friction, you are not lazy. You do not lack character or discipline. You are experiencing a system error. It is a structural failure, not a personal one. You're trying to push a car with an empty gas tank and the parking brake on, and then you're blaming yourself for not being strong enough. You're simply using the wrong fuel for the wrong engine based on a faulty map of your own mind.
Okay, so if pushing doesn't work, what does? We need to stop pushing and start creating pull. We need a new operating system that engages our powerful emotional engine instead of fighting it. And that system is the emotional catalyst protocol. This is where we shift from diagnosing the problem to providing the cure. This is where you learn how to turn the key. Instead of using the brute force of willpower, this 3-step protocol is designed to create an irresistible psychological pull. It's a loop that starts by systematically finding your true emotional fuel source, then connects that fuel to the task at hand, and finally, provides a physical spark to ignite the engine. It's all about engineering a state where action feels less like a chore and more like a biological necessity. Okay, let's break this down. The loop starts right here, with extraction. This isn't about your surface-level logical reason. It's about digging deeper, asking why, over and over, until you hit a raw emotional nerve. A vivid image, a memory, a feeling that literally makes your heart race. Next up is anchoring. Here, we create this powerful emotional contrast. You vividly imagine the ultimate victory, the absolute euphoria of achieving your goal. Then you pivot and feel the sharp, visceral agony of what it would mean to fail, to be stuck in this exact same spot in 5 years. We sandwich the work between these two powerful poles. And finally, this is the ignition. You create a physical trigger, a specific song, a quick physical movement, a powerful inhale that you link to that emotional state. It's the key turning in the ignition, connecting your mind to your body.
And honestly, this is the perfect summary of the protocol's effect. The old way is brute force, that exhausting, demoralizing push against a dead weight. The new way is elegant. It's about finding the right key and the right fuel. Once that emotional spark from your ignition trigger hits the high-octane fuel from your extracted why, the resistance, that limbic friction we talked about, it just evaporates. Momentum is no longer something you have to fight for. It becomes a biological certainty. Now, this might sound great in theory, but it's grounded in very real neuroscience. It's not magic, it's biology. Let's look under the hood at why this protocol is so incredibly effective at bypassing the willpower trap and priming your brain for deep focus and action. So your brain is constantly making these subconscious calculations, weighing the energy cost of an action against its potential reward. When a task is just a line item on a to-do list, your brain labels it a burden, a costly expense of precious energy. By using an emotional catalyst, you are performing what neuroscientists call cognitive appraisal. You are manually reaching into your own operating system and relabeling that task from a burden to a mission. And this single change, this reframe, has a profound and immediate effect on your brain chemistry. So here's the contrast. The old way, using willpower to force through a burden, is metabolically expensive. It drains the energy from the part of your brain responsible for focus and decision-making, your prefrontal cortex. This leads to burnout and decision fatigue. But the new way, the emotional catalyst way, does the exact opposite. By reframing the task as a mission, you activate the brain's primary highway for motivation, the Mesolimbic Dopamine Pathway. It releases dopamine, which doesn't just feel good. It acts as a lubricant for your thinking brain, making focus feel natural and effortless instead of forced. You're no longer draining the battery, you're lubricating the engine. All right, theory is great, but let's make this real. How can you take this concept and apply it the moment this is over? I want to shift into coaching mode here and give you a simple, actionable plan to have your very first ignition. This is where the rubber meets the road. You begin with that one task. You know the one I'm talking about, the one you've been migrating on your to-do list for days, maybe even weeks. The one that fills you with that heavy feeling of limbic friction every single time you even think about it. That is your target. Don't pick something easy. Pick the thing where the resistance is highest. That's where you'll feel the biggest shift. We're going to use a technique called the 5 Why audit to perform the extraction. First, state your logical goal. I need to finish this project report. Okay, now ask why. Because my boss needs it. Why is that important? To get a good review. Why? To get a promotion. Why? To make more money. Okay, we're getting warmer, but money is still logic. We gotta go deeper. Why is that important? So I can finally give my family a life without financial worry. Boom, there it is. The hot image isn't a spreadsheet. It's the look of relief on the face of someone you love. That's your fuel. This is the most crucial rule of the entire system. Seriously, write it down. Action follows chemistry. You have to generate the emotional state before you begin the work. Don't wait to feel motivated after you start. That's the old broken willpower model. You prime your nervous system first.
So before you even open your laptop, spend 120 seconds on the anchoring step. 60 seconds vividly imagining the victory, feeling that success in your bones, and then 60 seconds feeling the pain of stagnation. Then, use your somatic trigger. Put on that one powerful song, do 10 push-ups, take one deep, intentional breath, and ride that wave of chemical energy directly into the task.
As we wrap up, I want you to zoom out for a second, because this isn't just a productivity hack. The Emotional Catalyst Protocol is a fundamental shift in how we approach performance, work, and life itself. It's about learning to work with the powerful primal fire inside you, not constantly trying to suppress it in the name of being professional. This is the mantra to take with you. Your logic is essential. It's your map, your rudder, your destination. Without it, you are completely lost. But a ship with a perfect map and rudder is still just a dead weight in the water without a propulsive force. Emotion is the wind. It's the power that gets you moving, that carries you through storms, that makes the journey not just possible but thrilling. We've been trying to row this giant ship with the tiny oars of willpower when all we really needed to do was learn how to raise the sails.
This is the choice we face. We can keep trying to run on the leaky battery of discipline, which will always run out. It's a strategy of scarcity. Or we can learn to build a connection to our purpose, that deep emotional why we just extracted. Because purpose isn't a battery, it's a nuclear reactor. It doesn't deplete, it generates a near limitless source of sustainable energy if you just learn how to tap into it.
Go ahead and look at your to-do list. It's just black text on a white screen. It's a cold, dead document. It has no inherent energy. The energy has to come from you. Your challenge is to stop trying to be a rational actor and start embracing your power as a feeling performer. Your job is to infuse that cold list with a hot heart, to connect each logical task to the emotional mission it serves.
And this is the final thought I want to leave you with. The goal was never to cram more tasks into your day or to become some cold, efficient machine. True productivity is about mastery. It's about mastering the internal systems that make focus, drive, and consistency feel effortless because you're finally aligned with your own biology. It's about understanding your own wiring and using it to your advantage so you can stop fighting yourself and finally unleash your full power. The only question now is, what fire will you ignite today?